So, good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you are fine and you people are enjoying your winter vacation holidays. But as you know, that study is also an important part of life. So we need to proceed our today's SSC class. So yesterday we have completed till World War II, and today we have to start with women in freedom struggle. So in this we see that how women had participated in the freedom struggle. So, during the national movement, women from diverse backgrounds participated in it, and their involvement was very important for freedom struggle, for the women's movement and for themselves also. Both British officials and Indian nationalists felt that women participation gave the national struggle an immense force. But how? But how the participation of women gave national struggle, freedom struggle, an immense force? So see that it brought women out from their homes, and women got a place in the professions, and women got involved in the governance. So here is a case study about Ambabai. She is from Karnataka and she had married at the age of 12 and she got widowed at the age of 16. Okay, and she participated very well in the national movement. What she did in the national movement, just see, she picked foreign cloth and liquor shop in Udupi. She was arrested and served a sentence and was re-arrested. But between prison terms, she made speeches, taught spinning, and organized Prabhat Feri. Ambabai regarded these as the happiest day of her life because these days gave her life a new purpose and commitment. Earlier, even Mahatma Gandhi was opposed to women's participation in the freedom struggle. But after that, Sarojini Naidu had to persuade him to allow women to join the movement, and after that, Gandhiji was also in the favor of participation of women in the freedom struggle. So this was the participation of women in overall freedom struggle. So in our next topic, we are proceeding to the Quit India movement. So on 8 August 1942, the Indian National Congress met in Bombay and they have started a new movement that is known as the Quit India movement. It was another non-violent movement. So Quit India movement was also a non-violent mass movement and the leader was Gandhiji. Who was the leader of Quit India movement? The leader of Quit India movement was Gandhiji. And this movement was started to compel the Britishers to leave India. And the slogan of this movement was do or die, karo ya maro. Okay, so let's see how many Indians were participated in Quit India movement and what happened later. So especially peasants and youth were attracted. Communication and symbol of state authority were attacked all over the country, and in many areas the people set up their own government. So how the British response? So British adopted the method of severe repression. They tried to repress this movement as they ever do. Again, they have tried the same thing. They tried to repress this movement also. So now see what they did to repress this movement. So by the end of 1943, over 90,000 people were arrested. Around 1,000 were killed in police firing. And in many areas, orders were given to machine gun crowds through airplanes. The rebellions, however, ultimately brought the Raj to its knees. Okay, so this was all about Quit India movement. Okay, now we are going to study about the Subhash Chandra Bose and the Indian National Army that was created by this man. And the slogan that was given by him is "तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा." So Bose Subhash Chandra Bose was a radical nationalist, he was an extremist with socialist learning. He did not share Gandhiji's ideal of ahimsa. Why? Why he was not the follower of Gandhiji's ideal of ahimsa? So, see, in January 1941, he secretly left his Calcutta home and went to Singapore through Germany and raised an army. And that army was Indian National Army or Azad Hind Force. Why? Why there was a need to create a Azad Hind Force? Okay, so to free India from British control. The main motive of every person was at that time was to free India from British control. In 1994, the INA tried to enter through Imphal and Kohima, but the campaign was failed. Okay, the INA member were imprisoned. Why it was failed? Because the INA member, the members of Indian National Force, Indian National Army were imprisoned and tried. And people across the country from all walks of life participated in the movement against the INA trials. Okay, so this was all about the INA and Subhash Chandra Bose. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now we are proceeding towards our next topic, that is towards independence and partition. Now who is asking for partition? So in 1940, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he was the president of the Muslim League. He put forward the theory of two nations. He put forward the theory of two nations. He said that Hindu and Muslims are two different people, their religion is different, that is why their state should be different. Independent state, they were asking for an independent state for Muslims in the northwestern and eastern areas of the country. Okay, so who put forward the demand of independent state? So it was put forward by the Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Now Muslim League began viewing the Muslim as a separate nation from the Hindus. Why? So in developing the notion, it may have influenced by the history of tension that was between Hindus and Muslim group in the 1920s and the 1930s. So due to all those tension, they have asked for a separate nation, they have given this notion. Now the provincial election of 1937 was held and convinced the League that Muslims were a minority and they would always have to play second fiddle in any democratic structure and fear of being unrepresented. So the Congress rejections of the League desire to form a joint Congress League government in the United Province in 1937 also annoyed the League. Okay, why the masses supported such a communal party? Why? Why masses, why many of the people were ready to support a communal party? So see, the Congress failure to mobilize the Muslim masses in 1930s allowed the League to widen its social support. Okay, and Muslim League enlarged its support during the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement when most Congress leaders were in jail. Okay, then at that time Muslim League enlarged its support. Muslim League took the advantage of that situation and it had gained the support. So what the negotiations were done after the Second World War? So see the negotiation that have been done after the Second World War, like Muslim League claimed themselves as sole spokesperson of Indian Muslim, whereas Congress did not accept this claim. Okay, so I hope till here it is clear. So now one case study is given about Maulana Azad with other members. Okay, this picture is showing that Maulana Azad with other members at the Congress Working Committee Sevagram in 1942. So, where he was born? Maulana Azad was born in Makkah to a Bengali family and an Arab mother. He was well versed in many languages and he was a scholar of Islam and an exponent of the nation of Wahdat-e Deen. The Wahdat-e Deen means the essential oneness of all religions. An active participation in Gandhian movement and opposed to Jinnah's two-nation theory. He was also opposed to Jinnah's two-nation theory. Okay, so now we are moving ahead with the province election of 1946 further added a fuel to the demand of partition. Who were demanding the partition? Obviously the Muslim League and the president of Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. They were demanding a separate nations for Muslims. So provincial elections of 1946, here one is Congress and there is Muslim League. Congress did well in general constituencies and Muslim League did well in the reserve constituencies. So what were the outcomes? To see the outcomes, victory is in reserve constituencies persisted with its demand for Pakistan. Okay. So what happened next? Was the partition inevitable and any attempts done from the side of the British? So let's see. British had sent one cabinet mission in March 1946. Cabinet sent a 3-member mission to Delhi to examine this demand of partition and to suggest a suitable framework for a free India. And let's see what were the suggestions given by the cabinet mission. So this mission suggested that India should remain united and constitute itself as a loose confederation with some autonomy for Muslims majority areas. So what were the outcomes? Was these suggestions were accepted by Indian National Congress and Muslims? So let's see. Both Congress and Muslim League could not agree to a specific detail to the proposal, and this mission was failed. And failure of cabinet mission, Muslim League decided on mass agitation for winning its Pakistan demand. Direct Action Day was declared on 16 August 1946. Direct Action Day was declared. What happened on that day? Riots broke out in Calcutta. By March 1947, violence spread in different parts of northern India. That was the pain of partition. So what happened? Was the demand accepted? So let's see. Lord Mountbatten, he was the new viceroy. He came to India in 1947 and he presented a plan called the Mountbatten Plan for the division of the country into two independent nations, that was India and Pakistan. Though Mahatma Gandhi and other leaders were reluctant to this demand, but to avoid the further bloodshed, they have accepted this demand, and on July 1947, one act was passed, and that act was India Independence Act of 1947. So let's see what this act contained. So this act provided for the end of British control over India from 15 August 1947. And according to this act, India was partitioned into two different dominions, that is India and Pakistan. Princely states were given the choice to either join India or Pakistan or to continue as an independent kingdom. And it laid down that the power will be transferred to both the government. And the map of the world in 1947 demarcated the boundaries for both the countries. And on 15 August 1947, India finally attained a freedom after a long 200 years of the rule of the Britishers. and Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of independent India. So, this was all about the freedom struggle and independent nation. So, I hope this chapter is clear to you all. Thank you. See you in the next class. Be safe, students. Have a nice day.